What's up guys, this is Anime Crossover. I'm back with a new episode of What If Naruto Was the King of All Saiyans Part 3. And if you did enjoy the video, give this video a like. And if you're new to my channel and like my content, subscribe. And hit the notification bell for more crossover fictions. Now let's begin this new video.
Chapter 13 Naruto stood there, dreading the bloodshed, as Frieza's ship came on the horizon. Everyone gathered around him noticed that as soon as the ship landed down, many PTO troops began to crowd around the ship. Naruto and the others flew over and landed a few feet away. Frieza could be seen standing next to Dodoria and Zarbon, smirking with his customary arrogant expression. Well, Frieza muttered, moving his floating chair to the front of the queue. If not the traitor, Naruto. I was shocked to learn you joined the Galactic Patrol. Frieza's voice had a chilly tone to it, laced with lethal purpose as he continued, I'll tell you what, you bring me these Dragon Balls, and I'll forgive your past transgressions and allow you to return to the PTO. You don't get it, Frieza, do you? Naruto exclaimed, you're going to die right here. Naruto returned everyone's gaze and replied, show them what you've got. Everyone charged at the Frieza might with full might. It was just a matter of seconds before their scouters blew up and they all fell to the ground. Although the most of them had died, Goku, Gohan, and Chi-Chi chose to solely knock out their opponents. Naruto made a shaky motion with his head. Even though he understood Goku's methods and attitude, he was slightly dissatisfied. Naruto raised his palm and shot a ki beam through everyone except Frieza's body. Naruto, no, says the narrator, it was too late for Goku to yell. Goku grabbed Naruto's collar strap and yelled, they were defenseless. Do you know how much innocent blood is on their hands? Naruto snatched his wrist and yelled back. Naruto exclaimed. These guys annihilate worlds, Kakarot. Worlds, every man, woman, and child who is not murdered in the initial invasion is either exterminated or sold into slavery, while their planets are auctioned off to the highest bidder. If you had let them live, they would have gone on to do the exact same thing all over again, Naruto said, pointing to the dead PTO members. Throwing his fists in the air in despair, Naruto then pointed to Frieza and said, are you going to be responsible for the deaths of everyone else they'll kill in the future as well? Killing them now will spare the lives of many more who will be killed later. Goku stared down at the dead bodies on the ground. Even Krillin understands the gravity of the situation, and I respect him far more than I do you right now, Kakarot, Naruto said, turning to Krillin, who had killed several Frieza Force members. Goku, I have to agree with Naruto on this one, Krillin said, shocked. He hurriedly said a Buddhist prayer to those he slaughtered and groaned. You, too, had similar thoughts. Remember, you've murdered before, annihilated an entire army when you were young. I understand not wanting to kill, but individuals like the PTO can't be let off the hook. Goku suffered yet another blow to his ego. He sighed and began to think about what he had done in the past. This is too confusing to think about, he muttered, scratching his head. All I want is a good fight. Frieza was still taken aback by their unexpected surge in power. Because of how quickly they moved, he figured it was far over 1,000,000. As he stepped off of his floating chair, the Frost Demon couldn't help but seem frustrated. Frieza forced himself to relax down before landing and smiling. Tell me, Naruto, how did you and your monkey friends become so powerful? Frieza began to believe Naruto desired ultimate power or something along those lines. We trained, Naruto exclaimed. Pupostrauss, as if you could get that strong through training, Frieza exclaimed. You think I used the Dragon Balls? Naruto laughed again. Did you? Frieza asked, pausing. Frieza, while the dragon can grant wishes, it is not omnipotent, Naruto said with a shake of his head. Your wish for true immortality will not be granted by the dragon. If someone greater than the creator of the Dragon Balls existed, they can negate the dragon's wish and still kill you. Well, then, I guess I'll just have to wish for eternal youth instead, Frieza grumbled. That would be the way to go, Naruto said, nodding his head. However, you will not be going anyplace but hell. For an immortality wish, Naruto decided hyper-regeneration would be the best option. Repairing the damage would be easier than repelling someone stronger's destruction, but he wasn't going to tell Frieza that. Frieza laughed mockingly as he put his hand to his face, ho ho ho. To think you dare to speak to me in this manner, Naruto. I admit you've grown stronger, but that doesn't make you stronger than me. I'll let you in on a little secret. This isn't even my final form. Yes, we all know you have 3 other forms besides this one, Naruto interjected. How did you? Frieza asked, blinking with a blank expression. You'd better jump into your final form and save yourself the embarrassment, Naruto grinned.
Frieza smiled and said, that won't be necessary.
Frieza charged up, shaking the air around them. I think this will be more than enough to deal with you all, the Frost Demon remarked as he materialized in his second form. Naruto was ready to take a step forward when Goku intervened. Wait a minute, Naruto. Let me fight him.
No way, this is my fight, said Naruto. Come on, Naruto, he appears to be strong. Please allow me to fight him. Oh, I see, I'll play him for you. Goku extended his hand.
Naruto growled, fine whatever. What on earth am I watching right now? Frieza stated aloud. They began playing a game of rock, paper, scissors. Jan Ken Pon, yelled Naruto and Goku as they drew their arms to their sides and hid their hands. Naruto had scissors, but Goku had paper. Take it, Kakarot. Aw man. Goku's shoulders were drooping. Naruto then turned to face Frieza and stated, okay then, sorry about the wait. Frieza's brow twitched as he stated calmly, I'm going to kill all of you. Frieza's body rolling over the ground and smashed a significant piece of the earth after Naruto materialized in front of him and slapped him across the face. As he flew out of the crater, Frieza grumbled as he looked down at Naruto and exclaimed, lucky shot, monkey.
Frieza rushed down at him and began to attack with a barrage of punches and kicks, only for Naruto to evade them within inches of the assaults.
Frieza continued to fight furiously, then shouted when he noticed Naruto had his eyes closed, you. What exactly is your power level? Naruto tripped Frieza and hit him in the stomach, sending him flying into the air. As Frieza came to a halt, Naruto appeared alongside him and said, why don't you transform again and try out? I'll be patient.
You monkeys and your love of battle, Frieza laughed. You realize it's a huge disadvantage as a species, and it'll be your undoing.
Frieza began to power up again, eventually reaching his third and final forms. Naruto laughed as the smoke cleared, revealing Frieza in his constricted ultimate form, and his blood began to boil as he unleashed all his strength. Naruto's aura increased dramatically. The atmosphere trembled as his new power level reached 35 million. He leapt over, kicked Frieza's chin, and flung his body through the air. Frieza was taken aback and instantly decided against employing merely 10% of his might. Frieza's power increased by 20%, giving him a power level of 24 million as he struck out a Naruto who materialized in front of him. Naruto didn't even move after taking a hit to the face. Impossible, how can you be so strong? Roared Frieza. Frieza upped his power level to 36 million after powering up to 30% and hitting Naruto with a spinning kick to the waist. Naruto's corpse fell to the ground, leaving nothing except bruises. Naruto didn't receive much harm because their power levels were only 1 million different. Naruto unleashed his power with a roar, launching a Gallic Kamehameha straight at Frieza. Frieza frowned at the rapid increase in his ki, as the blast had reached at least 87.5 million in power level. Frieza increased his power to 75% of his full potential, placing him around 90 million. Frieza flew forward with his leg pulled back in an explosive burst of speed. The Frost Demon booted the massive beam into the air, slightly injuring his leg in the process.
The beam was sent into the sky, where it rocketed out of the atmosphere and into the wide void of space. While Frieza was howling in rage, Naruto appeared beside him and said, Awoken ×2. As the blue aura encircled Naruto, his power level increased by 70 million. Naruto punched out, landing a hard punch to Frieza's gut before spinning kick to the side of Frieza's neck. Naruto struck Frieza with a big bang attack as his body tumbled backward. As long as Frieza's might did not exceed Naruto's, the Saiyan King could still cause some damage with superior martial arts skills.
Frieza's body was thrown to the ground in a cloud of debris and smoke from the explosion. Naruto emerged in front of the Frost Demon with a fully charged Gallic Kamehameha, ready to fire, before Frieza could extricate himself from the ruins. Enough! Yelled Frieza as a bubble of purple energy encircled him, repelling the explosion. Naruto then appeared above Frieza and used an axe hammer blow to sever the back of his skull. He was, however, far too sluggish. Frieza wrapped his tail around Naruto's leg and pulled him underneath his body, bringing them face to face with the Saiyan King. As Frieza began to lay into Naruto with dozens of punches and kicks, Naruto recognized that the evil Space Emperor was using 90% of his power. The Frost Demon was attempting to kill Naruto with his strikes, punching and kicking the Saiyan with everything he had at the time. Naruto continued to endure the strikes while smiling. Each onslaught broke him down piece by piece. Frieza then hauled him up and shot him with a death ball, causing a huge explosion in the sky. The shockwaves shook the entire world as Frieza proceeded to hurl strikes at Naruto, launching thousands of finger beams at the Saiyan while grinning maniacally. Haha. So much for Naruto dying here, Frieza remarked before conjuring up several key orbs and hurling them at the smoke cloud he had created. Frieza felt that 10 enormous key explosions on Naruto's body was finally enough to kill the irritating monkey. After a few seconds of wrath, Frieza cooled down and began laughing. Oh ho ho ho. Do you see what I mean? Your might was nothing in comparison to mine, and it never was. When the smoke cleared, Naruto was discovered to be covered in numerous wounds. Blood spilled from his hunched-over figure, many bruises and burn marks covered his body, his haggard breathing revealed that several of his ribs had penetrated his lungs, and his weak motions revealed the numerous fractured bones inside his limbs. Frieza was startled to see him still alive. The Frost Demon, amused by his toughness, offered an innocent grin before remarking, "I must admit, Naruto, your ability to take a beating is incredible. Come back and work with me. I might even make you my right-hand man." Naruto grunted and began to chuckle loudly before replying, "I don't think so." Full recovery. Naruto's wounds healed swiftly, and his base power level increased. This time, though, his new basic power level was 75 million. "What did you just do?" Frieza yelled. "I healed my wounds with my magic. By the way, I was born with magic," Naruto grinned. Frieza was furious, exclaiming, "Magic? When were Saiyans allowed to utilize magic?"
Frieza calmed himself after his tantrum and replied, "No matter, I'll just kill you before you can heal the damage." Frieza yelled as he charged at Naruto. Naruto has gotten even stronger. Goku exclaimed in amazement.
"Goku, didn't you hear what King Naruto said?" Jin smacked him across the back of the skull. "The greater the threat, the greater the gain," Bardock remarked, clutching his fist. He, too, desired to annihilate Frieza. When Naruto fired back at Frieza and began trading punches with him, the Tyrant Emperor became enraged because the more he hit Naruto, the stronger the Saiyan became. "What is this madness?" Frieza yelled as he hit and kicked Naruto again. The attack began with a brutal belly punch, then a knee to the face as Naruto leaned into the strike, and then a jumping spin kick to the face, causing Naruto to damage the terrain around them.
Frieza threw a gigantic ki ball, causing a massive explosion that devastated a large portion of the ground.
Frieza, believing he had finally finished Naruto, stared in horror as the Saiyan King flew out of the crater, fully recovered from his wounds and much stronger than before. Frieza was becoming concerned. Naruto charged towards Frieza, attacking like a mad beast. He hit Frieza in the gut, and Frieza kicked him in the chin with a backflip kick in return. When the power of the strike caused Naruto's chin to rise, his senses allowed him to narrowly avoid Frieza's attempt to impale his stomach with his tail. In retaliation, Naruto grabbed Frieza's tail and pulled him towards himself, punching the Frost Demon in the jaw.
Frieza retreated from the attack and swung his elbow into the side of Naruto's face, cracking his cheek and forcing the Saiyan King to lean to the side.
Frieza spun his tail around, freeing it from Naruto's grasp, and immediately coiled it around Naruto's waist, holding him in place as he began to punch.
Frieza drew closer and closer to using his 100% as Naruto took a defensive stance and cast Re-Heal on his body, turning Naruto into a punching bag.
Every time Frieza struck him, his power level increased somewhat, getting closer and closer to surpassing his opponents. Everyone shook their heads as Naruto continued to take a hammering. "Man, he's such a glutton for punishment, isn't he?" Krillin stated that he perceived Naruto's power level to be around 100 million. Frieza paused as Naruto began to giggle. What are you laughing about?"
"I've had enough, my Zenkais aren't providing me with enough gain anymore," Naruto said as he powered up.
Frieza's tail was blown off Naruto's waist by a great burst of golden light, and his body was thrown back by the strong shockwaves of the Super Saiyan's ki.
Frieza began to shiver as he gazed at Naruto's golden form, saying, "No, this is inconceivable, what is this form? Wasn't it true that Saiyans could only morph into enormous apes? Isn't this the... No, I refuse to believe that, it's just a myth."
"That's where you're wrong," Naruto exclaimed. Naruto emerged in front of Frieza and stood face to face with the Space Tyrant, saying, "Your worst nightmares have come true, Frieza. I have indeed evolved into the legendary Super Saiyan."
Frieza's mouth gaped open like a fish gasping for oxygen as the gusts rushed by. "Well, not the legendary, but still a Super Saiyan," Naruto amended himself.
"So what, your hair turned golden, that doesn't mean anything," I'm not even at my full power. Frieza began to back off.
Your full power is around 120 million, Naruto laughed. My current power level is approximately 7.5 billion. My mastered Super Saiyan state lets me reach 75 times my base strength level.
Impossible, exclaimed Frieza in surprise. You are eyeing.
Can you tell the difference? Naruto laughed. Even if I allowed you to morph, you wouldn't be able to challenge me. From my planet, Naruto grasped Frieza's neck and raised his palm. Naruto began slapping Frieza back and forth with a powerful slap to the face.
Please, Naruto, halt. Please forgive me, Frieza begged. Naruto, on the other hand, knew better, thus it fell on deaf ears.
Naruto made one last taunt as he flipped Frieza off and the frost demon in the abdomen after Frieza could no longer feel his face. Naruto grinned as he brought the Emperor to his knees while the air left his lungs.
Frieza tried furiously to stand in front of Naruto, squeezing his gut. You can't do this to me. You're nothing but a nasty monkey.
The Saiyan King pressed his foot against Frieza's shoulder, forcing him to bow. By the way, Frieza, I have a magic spell that allows me to increase my power level by 20 times and higher than my current level, he stated as he leaned forward.
Frieza's eyes expanded in dread as Naruto asked, Do you know why I'm telling you this? Frieza's eyes widened in terror as Naruto questioned, Do you know why I'm telling you this?
Naruto, please. Frieza tightened his teeth. Please have mercy. Please spare my life, and I will leave you alone. I'm not Kakarot, Naruto said, rolling his eyes. I told you that to make you realize how dismal your situation is. What happens when you meddle with a Saiyan? Naruto then grabbed Frieza's neck and squeezed hard.
Frieza screamed in agony as he felt his spine shatter a little. The Frost Demon's arms and legs became slack before Naruto drew him up and started pounding him out multiple times.
Each attack targeted Frieza's vitals and broke all of his limbs. Please, Naruto, it wasn't even my idea to destroy your planet, I was ordered to do so by the god of destruction. Frieza begged.
I know. Kokura Ken times 20. Naruto exclaimed before tossing him into the air. Holy Kamehameha. Naruto yelled as the indigo blasted Frieza and shot out into space.
Naruto smiled up into the sky before landing next to a scouter.
I know you heard everything. Naruto raised his palm, smashing all the scouters with simple air flicks, to teach everybody watching that Earth is safe. It's finished. Naruto stared up towards the sky, his recollections of his former history completely sorted. Even though the torture and enslavement never occurred in this timeline due to his reincarnation, the thought of any version of himself going through that was more than enough to feed his hatred. Now that it was over, Naruto exclaimed, I finally got my revenge. Cooler was in a bad mood halfway across the Milky Way because of the unpleasant information he had heard. Sir, the computer's most advanced scanner revealed a power level of 150 billion before the explosion. That's impossible, my brother can't possibly have that much power, exclaimed Cooler. Sir, it didn't come from your brother, the soldier responded, shaking his head. It came from the person fighting him. Throughout the conflict, the target's strength level steadily increased until it burst at 100 million. It rose by another 20 times after obtaining a 75 times boost before destroying the item. Naruto's message after the power surge indicates he killed Frieza. Set a course for another planet that meets the requirements for growing the Tree of Might, Cooler grumbled. I'll go there once I consume the life power of another planet. Sir, yes. The closest planet is 1.5 light-years away. As he hurried out of the room, the soldier exclaimed, plotting course. I never thought there was someone so powerful out there. Cooler grumbled as he glanced back out into the immense expanse of space. I'll have to get ready for this one. Allowing those Saiyans to live may have been a mistake. Back on Earth. Naruto undone his metamorphosis and relaxed as he landed on the Earth. Well, that takes care of that, Naruto exclaimed, smiling as he patted his palms together. Fight me. Goku exclaimed as he went up to Naruto, jumping around like a child. Defeat me. Defeat me. Combat me. Everyone chuckled at Goku's antics, and Naruto replied, Fine, I'm in a good mood. Before traveling to the timeless training grounds with Goku, Naruto placed everything from space into a dino capsule and sent everything into his pocket space. As the two entered, Goku once again benefited from regular Zenkai enhancements via beatdowns. It didn't take him long to catch up, but Goku startled Naruto by going Super Saiyan 2. Naruto chuckled and demonstrated to Goku that he, too, had attained the form. As the two Super Saiyans continued to fight like madmen, blue lightning crackled around them. After a few years at the training grounds, the two's might would compel everyone to play catch-up. Their new base strength levels were approximately 120 million each, and it appeared that they had mastered Super Saiyan 2. The lightning had vanished from the figure, but their hairstyles remained. Only a soft and relaxing golden glow across their entire bodies demonstrated that they had accomplished the form. When they initially broke through, it was twice as powerful as mastered Super Saiyan 1. The two Saiyans had incredible strength thanks to a 150-fold increase in their base power levels. When they perfected the form, it unleashed Super Saiyan 2's full power without compromising speed or dexterity. The Saiyans found that a mastered Super Saiyan 2 multiplied their base ki levels by 200 times. After exiting, Naruto was asked to supper and summoned Bulma to inform her of what had occurred. Bulma and Naruto informed everyone about the wonderful news when the woman of the hour arrived. "I'm pregnant," says the woman. Bulma stated with a smile on her face, displaying her tail.
Everyone observed her tail, eyes, and hair color had remained the lavender blue they were used to.
A blue-haired Saiyan, what a strange sight. Raditz scratched his chin.
Naruto almost burst out laughing thinking about what he'll say when he sees the SSB form. I have some good news as well, Chi-Chi sought to say. Goku, we're going to have another one. Chi-Chi snatched her stomach.
The audience roared in applause. I'm having another grandchild. Jin rocked back and forth, hugging Chi-Chi. Another proud Saiyan to join the ranks, Bardock said, nodding. Congratulations, King. And Queen, replied Nappa, smiling. It was the first real smile he had since arriving on Earth.
Krillin sighed, I need a girlfriend. Everyone went their separate ways after hanging out and eating, and they lived in peace for the next 9 months.
Naruto was being treated in a private hospital run by the Brief family. He sat next to Bulma, allowing her to crush his hand while she gave birth to their baby.
When the difficult portion was through, Bulma took him in her arms and said, Incredible, her body is already beginning to recover, and I've never seen such a healthy child.
My son, the new Prince of Saiyans, Naruto exclaimed as he pushed everyone out and laid his hand on Trunks' face. Naruto grinned as a pleasant sensation ran through his body.
Bulma healed completely after eating a senzu bean. She then lifted Trunks and asked, You want to hold him? Naruto bowed his head, gently rocking Trunks in his arms and saying, Little guy's quiet as a mouse.
Naruto was astonished when he detected Trunks' strength level, 15,000. Ha ha ha. My youngster is a genius. Brawly, suck it. Is that his power level? Bulma inquired. Naruto handed over the wish-made super scouter and instructed, check for yourself. Bulma laughed as she placed the visor-like scouter over her face. I guess I'll have to start training as well. I can't punish my son since he's so much bigger than me. I don't know about that. Naruto laughed. I think you'd be okay even without training. Neither in spirit nor in strength, Saiyans marry weak women. Bulma rose up and kissed him on the cheek before kissing Trunks on the forehead and stating, his name will be Trunks. That sounds great, Naruto said with a smile. The next one, however, will be named after a Saiyan. Bulma blushed and prodded her chin, ponderingly, the next one, huh?
Bulma, I really mean it. With a grin, Naruto remarked.
Sure, a Saiyan name, Bulma remarked, waving her hand, as if I'll allow it. I hear Chi-Chi is due any day now, Naruto said as he shook his head and handed Trunks back over. Yep, we should pay a visit, Bulma said as they walked out of the hospital, surprising the physicians with her quick recovery. Before Goten was born, a few days passed. Goku begged Chi-Chi to let Goten become his martial heir after learning of his 14,000 power level. Please, Chi-Chi, Goku yelled as he clutched the hems of Chi-Chi's dress. I simply want to spend more time with my children. Training with them provides me with that time.
Naruto arrived to see Goku on the ground pleading. Naruto coughed before interrupting on Goku's behalf, adding, if it's about money, I can just pay bribe. I mean, I'll give you money right now. More than enough to keep you going for a long time. Bulma might even offer you a black card similar to mine. Naruto produced his limitless credit card.
Nah, I don't want to rely on you forever, Goku said, his face a touch odd. Grandpa advised me to look for myself.
Naruto tapped his foot on the ground and placed his hand over his chin for a moment before looking up and said, I intend to increase interest in training ki on Earth.
As a result, some solutions to this problem have emerged. It will not only provide you with a life, but it should also provide you with a fortune. Chi-Chi was fascinated, and Goku was ready to reject assistance when she placed her hand to his mouth and said, Shut up, Goku, and Bulma, Thank you so much. It's the least we can do, after all, we're probably. No, we're definitely the richest people on the planet now, Bulma joked. Thank you Bulma, Naruto, you have. Never mind, Chi remarked with a smile. You can imagine how difficult it is to feed so many Saiyans. Naruto had been preparing a migration for certain humans who wanted to reside on Salada's moon, Luna, for the next few months. However, he needed to build specific partnerships first.
Naruto spent the next few days doing errands, largely dealing with rules, politics, and economics for changing space currency to Earthling currency, as well as future payments and taxes for residents of Luna's cities.
He also had to prepare for his meeting with the King of Earth and build an appropriate alliance with the Galactic Patrol. Naruto had someone pay a visit to Yako in order to obtain the GP. He eventually dispatched Raditz and Krillin to meet with the Galactic King. The two traveled to an island in the middle of nowhere after confirming Jaco's presence on Earth.
On the way, Krillin asked Raditz, "So, got you in launch, huh?"
Raditz flushed and asked, "How did you?" The tail was a dead giveaway, Krillin said, or maybe it was the fact that when she visited, everyone could see that she was at least 7 months pregnant. Yeah, well, I was on Roshi's island learning the Kamehameha, launch made food, one thing led to another. Raditz scratched his chin. Just promise you'll take care of her, Krillin said with a smile. Launch is one of my closest friends. I've known her since I was a small child. In the end, I went with Masako X's pairing. Sorry, Spra, perhaps you'll be useful afterwards. Raditz nodded before quickening his pace. They were greeted on Omori's island by the old Dr. Omori, who appeared to be lounging on his dock. He was holding a fishing rod and smiling as he looked up at the sky.
"Excuse me, I'm looking for Yako of the Galactic Police," Raditz explained as he looked about.
The elder was taken aback when he saw Raditz flying beside Krillin. It took a time to explain, but Dr. Omori appeared weirdly accepting of the two. Yako is currently off planet, but he'll be back any minute. So, are you two aliens? Dr. Omori asked, marveling at his tail. I'm human, he's an alien, Krillin said, shaking his head. Dr. Omori expressed his incredulity, saying, nonsense, since when can humans fly? And, buddy, where is your nose? Krillin's eye twitched as he said, I am human pal. Krillin and Raditz touched down and described their situation. A red spaceship could be seen flying towards them while they talked. Raditz watched as the dome-shaped top of Jaco's ship opened up, revealing a blonde, short-haired beauty. I warned you a long time ago that taking that detour wouldn't help us get back faster. I missed my sister's wedding. Easy, just stop crawling over me. Tights landed on the island, and Yako yelled. When Tights saw Raditz approaching her, she recognized the tail and said, wait a minute, are you a Raditz the Saiyan? With a big smile on her face, Tights said. Raditz nodded and replied, I am, with a puzzled expression on his face. My name is Bulma Tight, and I'm Tight's big sister. Remember me, we met when you were a child? Tights extended her hand. Bulma has a sister? Krillin yelled. And you must be Krillin. Bulma was correct, your head is gleaming. Do you shave? Tights said, laughing. Ha ha, Krillin laughed. Raditz paused for a moment, looked over at Tights, and suddenly remembered meeting her when they were children. Raditz's eyes widened before he bowed and said, Your Highness. Why did you call her that? The three asked after a little pause.
Yako inquired, his head tilted. Because you are the queen's sister, you are a princess. Raditz stated as he stood up again.
When Bulma said she married a king, I thought she was joking, Tights said with a surprised expression. Wait, you're one of the Saiyans who joined the Galactic Patrol? Yako inquired. We came here to have you transport the two of us to the Galactic King, Raditz stated, nodding his head. Krillin is the name of the individual beside me. He will also be joining the GP. A human. They're a little too weak to join the GP, it's dangerous being a galactic policeman, Yako mocked Krillin. Krillin smiled as he flew over to him and said, I think I can handle it. When Raditz commented, I know he doesn't look like it, but this human is stronger than the Frost Denman Frieza, Yako was taken aback. With a shocked expression, Yako drew out a visor-like scouter and scanned Krillin's power level.
Only 100, says the narrator. With a puzzled expression on his face, Yako remarked. Finally, a chance to show off. Grinned Krillin as he began to charge up.
The heavens trembled as his clear white aura ascended towards the clouds, while the scouter's power level increased to 15 million. To prevent short-circuiting, the digits flickered before blanking out. Ah! This is inconceivable. As he removed the scouter from his face, Yako shouted.
I'll bring Krillin to the Galactic King, and are you coming to represent the Saiyans? He added, giving Krillin a discreet nod of approval. Yes, can you put me through to King Naruto? What, no, this isn't a prank call, just put Naruto on the line, damn secretary, Raditz said, shaking his head.
Yes, Naruto, it's me, Yako, and I'm here to escort you two to the Galactic King. Did you know Queen Bulma has a sibling? Raditz inquired of Krillin. No, the bald monk said, shaking his head side to side. I assumed she was an only child. Tights smiled from ear to ear as she saw Naruto teleport over with Bulma and Trunks with her nephew.
Eek, he's so cute, says one. Tights dashed over and began kissing Trunks as soon as Bulma gave him up.
Hey, sis, when do you get a tail? Tight has stopped smothering Trunks long enough to inquire. Before that happened, Bulma replied, lovingly looking at Trunks.
Tight then recognized Naruto and extended her hand to her, saying, good to see you again, little brother.
Tight exclaimed, wow, you've become quite the hunk, as Naruto welcomed her and shook her hand.
Yes, my husband is definitely a catch, Bulma remarked with a scowl. Even more enjoyable in bed. Naruto blushed and crossed his arms, looking away so they couldn't see his emotions. Bulma laughed as she winked at Naruto's scarlet face.
Tight shared a giggle with her sister. It was apparent she was overjoyed to see Bulma again.
Bulma then took her sister aside before she began to show off her tail and child, catching up on the last several years as they chatted under the shade of the island's house.
Bulma smiled and added, why don't you make some moves on him, mate with him, and you can become a Saiyan too, there are some really good health benefits if you do. No, ew. That would be a bad idea, I don't want Kakarot to call me Oni-chan. Naruto shook his head in disdain as he spat out blood accompanying those remarks. They had no idea about launch because Bulma and Naruto rarely visited Kame Island. There are other Saiyans, Bulma hissed. Bulma continued to lure her older sister, saying, you get stronger every time you get hurt, you can eat as much as you want and never gain a pound.
Our lifespans increase around 40 to 80 years, and according to Naruto, if we continue to train and stay in peak condition, we won't age until the last few years of our life, Bulma continued.
Tights turned to Raditz, blushing, and exclaimed, are you crazy? Bulma grinned triumphantly, crossing her arms and saying, HMPH, it appears that you have already considered it.
Bulma jumped atop Tights' bubble and threw her arm around her shoulder, saying, I think you can go for it. Even if it isn't him, there will be plenty of Saiyans when my husband puts his plans into action. Sorry for the wait, I'll be going with you, as the king of the Saiyan race, Naruto remarked, blushing at his wife's comments.
The king of a handful of people, Bulma remarked.
Yako was taken aback. The man opposite from him was the same Naruto who had before aided his buddies. The king of Saiyans reportedly swapped sides several years ago. As an added bonus, because he was the reason for meeting the Galactic King, he was guaranteed a promotion.
Hold on, Yako remarked as he allowed Krillin and Naruto into his ship. We'll be back in a day or so. Before they left, Raditz asked the girls, what do you think they're talking about?
I don't know, so can we leave now? Naruto faked ignorance as he lifted his shoulders.
Yako nodded and closed the hatch around the ship. As the GP member anticipated, they arrived in about a day. When the octopus-like, slime-like Galactic King met with Naruto, his entourage cheered. They were upgraded to the highest-ranking position in the GP for their victory over Frieza. The Z fighters and Saiyans were given the designation of elite generals from then on. Krillin had previously held this position and represented the Earthlings as their most powerful fighter. Naruto knew it was time to meet with Earth's king and help Goku with his money difficulties after teleporting back with the Galactic King. He flew them to Earth's capital, Central City, and met with Earth's ruler. Furry, the humanoid dog, was taken aback by Naruto's ability to march inside while taking every bullet fired at him.
However, when everything had settled down and some negotiations had taken place, Furry made a worldwide announcement via live broadcast.
Naruto was present to symbolize his new planet, and the King of the Universe was present to serve as a link between Earthlings and Saiyans. To top it all off, the King of Earth was present to announce the addition of humanity's most powerful warriors to the Galactic Patrol. Can you tell us, King Naruto, how you turned Venus into a new planet? One of the reporters inquired. Actually, there are these powers called Ki and Magic, Naruto said with a smile.
When the reporter followed up, everyone looked odd and doubtful. Are you telling me you used magic? he questioned sarcastically and teasingly.
Naruto rose to his feet and increased his power level. The room began to shake violently as shockwaves forced the reporters backward. Naruto then raised his palm and pointed to a nearby window before releasing a single burst of energy that shattered the glass and shot high into the sky before exploding. Everyone gasped in fear before Naruto exclaimed, "Relax. This was merely a demonstration. Do you remember the King Piccolo incident from years ago? What he used was called ki, and it was the same thing that I just demonstrated." Many of the folks calmed down. Magic, on the other hand, is a whole separate power with its own set of rules. "This is magic," Naruto said as he raised his hand and cast group heal and detox on the throng. Everyone who had previously suffered from an accident or illness was instantly healed. Some people in the audience were jumping for delight, particularly one reporter who had lost a limb in a car accident. He discovered himself with a newly regenerated leg.
"I want you to know that the warriors who fought in the World Martial Arts Tournament are still the strongest in the universe," Naruto said to calm the audience. "Krillin is regarded as the strongest living human here."
"Hey, isn't that the Turtle Hermit's disciple?" said Krillin, waving his hand. He was identified by one of the reporters covering the strongest under the Heavens tournament.
"This device will allow you to see a calculated representation of a person's level of ki," Naruto explained, pulling out his scouter. Naruto gave it to King Furry. The King of Earth wore the visor-like scouter and clicked on it as directed. To show the device's usefulness, King Furry chose the strongest human reporters and had them arm wrestle, pronouncing the winner every time before they even participated. The average human has a power level of anywhere between 2 and 5, those at the peak of athletic level are around 7 through 10, and those who train their ki are infinitely stronger, Naruto explained. "For example, King Furry, if you please." 125 million, said King Furry as he turned on the scouter and read Naruto's power level. Everyone in the room was stunned as King Furry yelled, "I have enough power to destroy an entire universe, but I am still far from the strongest thing in existence. Yet," Naruto said to the gathering. "This is why I want to open a dojo here on Earth," Naruto said once everyone had finished digesting the information. "Those that get powerful enough can come to my planet to train with the Saiyans. I've even built a moon that is ready for Earthlings to migrate to so that we can begin trading with the rest of the universe." The crowd erupted and began yelling, "Are you saying anyone can become as powerful as you?" "King Furry, please read Krillin's power level," Naruto said with a smile. 15 million, said King Furry, nodding his head. This isn't the limit to his strength. The crowd was stunned again. By using martial techniques such as the famous Kamehameha technique, one can increase their maximum power output. Krillin shook the room with a Kaioken time 2 and exclaimed, 30 million. King Furry collapsed. Krillin then smiled and said, 150 million. With his Kaioken timer. King Furry yelled as he battled to get back to his feet. Krillin abruptly shut down, causing everyone in the room to panic. "The next World Martial Arts Tournament will be funded by my wife. Those who want to extend their perspectives should come and watch around that time. Those who want to learn must journey to Korin's tower and climb from the ground up." "When will you begin accepting students?" one of the reporters inquired. "Who is your wife?" another person inquired. "My wife is Bulma Briefs of Capsule Corp, and we won't be opening a dojo for a while," Naruto said, returning his scouter. "That announcement will be made at a later time." Everyone erupted in a clamor of talk. After answering a few hundred more questions and declaring that he'd had enough, the focus shifted to the King of the Galaxy and Krillin. It took some time for things to settle down, but once they did, an agreement was reached to join the Galactic Alliance. As a result, from this day forward, humanity would stretch out into the stars to accomplish incredible feats. Soon, a list of 100,000 humans eager to travel to Luna and explore a new world was compiled. These people were looking forward to living on a moon that would allow them to start up store in space. Naruto went back to Goku's house and spent the next 3 days convincing him to build a dojo around his house. They could construct many gravity rooms and install pricey training equipment for the disciples with Bulma's assistance. "I don't know Naruto, and I'm not much of a teacher." Goku paused, rubbing his chin. "You don't have much to do, just teach them what you've been taught and spar with them every now and then," Naruto growled. "Furthermore, this will provide some cash, and Chi-Chi will think fondly of martial arts. You have to work for your vacation, so make it something you enjoy." When Grandpa Gohan came in and stated, "I could teach them a thing or two and help Goku mature as a teacher," Goku seemed tempted. Naruto laughed and thanked him, and Earth slowly began to alter over the next 9 months.
Tien and the rest of the Z warriors finally learned of Goku starting a dojo and wanted in. Naruto agreed to let them use the training grounds and was pleased to learn that Kami had been training and had discovered how to unlock people's potential. As a courtesy to Kami, once their training began, they would send acceptable applicants their way. When news got out about Korean Tower, numerous martial artists went in search of training. Cooler smiled gleefully as he stepped on another barren planet far in the limitless expanses of space. He was standing in front of a big tree with several dozen fruits hanging from its limbs.
Cooler picked one of the fruits and consumed it, increasing his power from 7.125 billion to 106.875 billion. Nothing happened when Cooler ate another one. Cooler frowned and exclaimed, "Odd. Why hasn't my power increased again? Did I get a fake?" "Sir, it appears your body has yet to digest the fruit's maximum medicinal properties," said one of Cooler's experts who was researching the fruit. "Based on the tests Medbay performed after your first power-up, we believe you can only eat one every year or so," Cooler said, lifting his brow. "Nonsense. Isn't there a more efficient technique to digest fruit?" Cooler inquired, his brow furrowed. "There is, sir, but it would require you to push your body to its absolute limit for several months," the scientist reported. "Train? Do you want me to train you? With my current power, who could possibly challenge me? Wait," Cooler thought, "maybe I could present one of the fruits to my father."
Cooler turned and plucked all the fruits from the tree, handing them out to his workers, saying, "Eat these." After eating a fruit of might, Knees, Door, and Salz's power levels skyrocketed, giving the three of them a power level of 2-3 million.
He gave Salza another fruit and instructed him to consume it after digesting the current fruit. "You will be my general," Cooler said, turning to face the rest of his team.
After distributing the remainder of the fruit to several of his men, all of them had grown in power to an average of 500,000 to 1 million in power level.
"The Cooler force owns everything Frieza owns, including the army. You will be my elite force," Cooler declared as he clutched the last of the fruit.
"I will give this one to father and use him to train myself for a while," he remarked, dissatisfied. "Then Il goes to that planet and kills the person who killed Frieza. No power shall oppose my rule."
Cooler then went into his ship and returned to the Frost Demon homeworld.
Back to the new home planet for the Saiyan race, which Naruto called Planet Salada in honor of Sadala. Names that are similar but not the same. Naruto and his family were admiring the planet, but Bulma struggled and gradually adjusted to the 20G of Planet Salada. Trunks, even as an infant, had a high enough power level to withstand Salada's gravity, therefore he had no trouble adapting.
Naruto had also created a home for Goku and his family here. The two thought of it as a holiday home and praised Naruto for building it. While they explored the land, Naruto formulated plans for the restoration of the entire Saiyan race.
He summoned Purunga after borrowing the Dragon Balls from Namek. The first wish he made was for new planet Salada to be able to regenerate from unnatural damage, such as destruction inflicted by strikes. The second wish he made was to mend the bodies of all the Saiyans who had died on planet Naruto. The last wish was to obtain a duplicate of his training room. Naruto returned to Namek after having his wishes accomplished and summoned Shenron. Shenron could now make 3 wishes and resurrect the dead with less penalties thanks to Kami's modifications.
Naruto wished for the rebirth of the Saiyan race on the new planet Salada. His second mission was to cleanse them of the bad memories linked with their transgressions after they were revived. In addition, they will be gathered at the gathering grounds.
Because restoring so many people required 2 wishes, the dragon returned to its resting state before Naruto teleported them home.
The gathering grounds were located directly outside the main castle of the realm. It was a big and open flat city square in the center of the world's largest city, covered with a single smoothed-over stone platform.
Around 250,000 Saiyans flooded the entire area. As a warrior race that was continually dying in combat, their population never grew to huge proportions. Another reason to justify Naruto's desire to convert his friends into pure Saiyans. The new genetic stock provided to the Saiyan race could help them thrive and replenish their numbers faster. If even half of the people on Luna become Saiyans, his population would increase by 100,000 or more, depending on how many children they have. Naruto may have millions of new Saiyans to care for if it continued to improve. Flying around, Naruto noticed his father and mother standing next to each other, puzzled. Bulma began to cry as Naruto soared past, more because she was concerned about Naruto's feelings. She knew his father wasn't a good man, but he was still his father. The sight of their son floating in front of them made the once dead parents smile. The ex-Saiyan king and queen were filled with only love, pride, and astonishment. They couldn't recall anything they did that might be labeled evil, but they remembered the sensation. This also applied to the remainder of the Saiyans collected. Although they couldn't remember their wicked deeds, they maintained their history, such as who their direct family was, how to live normally, and their passion for combat. Naruto's mother, Lucy, was crying as she laid her palm on her son's cheek. She had long black hair that spiked out slightly down the middle and sides, and in Naruto Sr.'s opinion, she was one of the most beautiful Saiyans ever. His mother was not just gorgeous but also powerful for a Saiyan. With a power level of 10,000, the Queen of Saiyans was only 5,000 away from her husband. "Who are they?" his mother asked, looking back and forth between the bunch. "This is your daughter-in-law and grandson. I have much to tell you," Naruto responded, holding up his son. "He's beautiful," Lucy said as she pulled Trunks into her arms, "but why is their hair blue?" Lucy wanted to verify his power level but didn't have a scouter to do so. "His power level is around 15,000, Naruto said with a sly grin. The two shockingly returned his stare. "He's as strong as me, your father," Lucy and Naruto both said the same thing. "Naruto's current power level is around 125 million, Bulma stated, laughing at her mother-in-law's look. The two were stunned once more and exclaimed, "How? Is this correct?" "It's true," Naruto said with a nod. He then went on to give a full account of his experiences since the world was destroyed. Naruto told them about the Earthlings and their training methods. He explained how he abandoned the ancient Saiyan way after discovering he could wield magic. How they decided to join the Galactic Police, fight the PTO, and kill Frieza in a one-on-one battle. How he met Bulma, when they married, and many more family-related stories. Naruto hoped they would adopt this style of life as well. He desired that they be interested in their lives and families. Naruto was doing everything he could to offer them a favorable influence to respond to. His parents, like all other Saiyans, didn't have family morality, but he could start off on the right foot. Naruto Uzumaki appeared deceived after revealing the scenario because he had not revived them earlier. Naruto shook his head, a dejected grimace on his face. "I understand all of you must be confused. What you experienced wasn't a dream, you were truly killed by Frieza," he said before returning them to the crowd. Naruto paused for a time before continuing, "I resurrected you using a powerful magic spell, and as a result, you are without memories of all the evil things you've done throughout your lives." Naruto then explained what they did before being powered up, saying, "This life we used to live is over. I vanquished the tyrant Frieza and paved the way for the Saiyans. We are no longer slaves. Never again will we be forced to destroy, never again will we be enslaved. Everything is changing from now on." He went on to explain how they were now working for the Galactic Patrol and would work in the future to atone for their misdeeds by saving more than they destroyed. Naruto took the opportunity to explain that there was an afterlife, and that he had used magic to erase their memories in order to keep them sane. Naruto glared at the Saiyans as he warned them that if they did not want to return to hell, they would have to stop their wicked ways and atone for them. To work tirelessly to help establish a peaceful future for everyone, including themselves. Many people still had misgivings and were straining to make judgments. Naruto wasn't expecting a mere speech to quell the Saiyans' vicious and ferocious mentality, so he flew up a bit and roared, "Don't forget I am still the king and the strongest one here." As Naruto transformed into a Super Saiyan and blasted his gold aura throughout the entire area, several people began to whisper in disbelief, the legends were true. The Super Saiyans actually exist. Prince Naruto is the illustrious Super Saiyan. Even Naruto and Veigen were taken aback. Bulma smiled and looked about, thinking of how powerful she would be in the future. Baby Trunks clasped his fists in delight as he watched his father transform into a Super Saiyan. "Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to scare you, but I am still your leader. Regardless of what you want, you know how Saiyans rule," Naruto declared, eliciting a collective gulp. "So, don't pass up the opportunity that I'm giving you, and don't forget who's the strongest here," Naruto snarled, threateningly looking over the audience. He fired himself even more and threw the mob back with just his aura. Many people were clinging to one another to keep from floating off into the horizon. Everyone then bowed and exclaimed, "Hail, hail King Naruto. The planet has plenty of houses and buildings for residents to take up," Naruto said as he powered down. "There are training rooms that can manipulate gravity, as well as combat facilities where you can battle to your heart's delight. I also want you to know that we are now part of the Galactic Police Force. Everyone began to smile. Rather than terrorizing the galaxy, we employ our powers to safeguard it. This world is brimming with cattle suited to our tastes and thriving farms that will never wither. Most importantly, it is our planet, Planet Salada. The moon is where our partners who can't handle the gravity of Planet Salada will reside. The audience of Saiyans began cheering enthusiastically. They will be our connection to the Earth and the Galactic Police, Naruto said to his wife. Once we've settled in, everyone who works will be adequately compensated for their efforts. I'll leave my father and mother in charge once they've been taught what needs to be done to restructure our society, Naruto said, holding out his hand to his parents. After everyone starts working for a few years, taxes will be reinstated. It's a large universe, and the forces of the Galactic Patrol have a lot of work for us. Naruto then assembled all of the Saiyans who had attained Super Saiyan form and ordered them to morph. Everyone was stunned once more, wondering how there could be so many Super Saiyans. Some even referred to Bardock's family as low-class warriors. This form is easier to obtain for those who clean up their hearts and choose to live as good-natured people, Naruto remarked. I've left a training room in the heart of the planet's Soul City, Naruto explained, before going on to describe how the training room works and what it takes to become a Super Saiyan. I anticipate a full-fledged Super Saiyan squad that will do our race proud in the stars. Our names will be known throughout the universe as the greatest saviors ever. Naruto raised his hand as the audience applauded at the top of their voices. Jine introduced her daughter-in-law and grandkids to her old pals, while Bardock was summoned by his former squad and pilot, Leek. Naruto looked around at his family before approaching his father and saying, I'm only handing the throne to you, for now, don't forget to train, old man. Perhaps it's better this way, Naruto Uzumaki remarked with a smile. I'll be right back, Naruto said after pausing and slapping his forehead. He teleported to Namek and asked Guru if he could have a Namekian become the god of his world. Guru considered it, and after considering the good it would accomplish, he appointed Dend as his planet's new guardian god. Naruto grinned, and Nail requested if he may accompany them, saying, I will protect Dend, I've already trained Cargo to be my replacement, and would like to keep an eye on Dend so nothing happens. This is great, Naruto exclaimed, I needed a teacher to help my people learn to control their ki, and a guardian god can't be without an attendee. You've come a long way, Guru replied with a smile. Nail, please do your best to serve our people's savior. After teleporting back to Planet Salada, Naruto nodded. With his and the Namekian's abilities, Naruto created a floating temple similar to the one on Earth. Dend and Nail climbed to the top, where Dend created a new dragon at Naruto's request. This one was shaped like a fuzzy monkey-like dragon. Dend stated that he designed it in this manner to commemorate the Saiyan people. Its overall shape resembled Purunga, but with 5 fingers and a more humanoid midsection. It still had a dragon's face, but its entire body was covered in fur and scales in patches. Naruto then informed the Saiyans that they would have to master learning to control and feel ki before they could use the Saiyans' timeless training grounds. Finally, he decided to take a break and left Nail in charge of teaching his people. Cooler was now sparring with his father on the planet of frost demons. The two had grown monstrously strong during the last few months of fighting. King Cold was taken aback by his son's continued development. After Cooler informed his father of Frieza's murder and the strength of the warrior who killed him, Cold agreed to train with his son to revenge his son, Frieza. King Cold's ultimate form resembled Frieza's fourth form, although he was taller and had more muscle. It appeared like he couldn't accomplish it while fighting future Trunks, but he knew Trunks wouldn't allow him time to shift. When Cold ate a single fruit of might, something unexpected happened. His father's power level far outstripped his own. When King Cold ate the fruit, his power level increased to 225 billion from 15 billion. After 3 months of training, their new power levels were 400 billion, according to King Cold, 375 billion for Cooler. Cooler began to fight with everything he had, launching a storm of punches as the two fought fiercely, shattering everything in their way. King Cold grinned as he easily avoided all of his son's attacks. Cooler knelt down and coughed up a lung after taking a single hit to the gut. King Cold then began to lash out at his kid, beating the absolute crap out of him. King Cold finished him off with a tremendous tail slap, sending Cooler's body crashing into the ground, generating a massive explosion of dust and debris. Cooler roared, sending chunks of big stones flying in all directions along with the smoke. Damn you, old man, Cooler huffed as he pushed the limits of his ki. Don't tell me this is all you have, replied King Cold, laughing. King Cold began to gain power, revealing something that shook Cooler to his core. His father disclosed that he, too, had a fifth form. Cold's body grew larger. A mask developed around his face, 2 purple biocrystals formed on his forearms, and his horns shriveled down to resemble an Oni from Japanese mythology. King Cold's current power level is 800 billion, roughly 10 times that of Perfect Cell. Cooler began to suffer much as his father pounced on him. After this 2-week attack, Cooler had managed to elevate his peak power level to 500 billion. While Cooler was being attacked by his father, he began to succumb to his fury. His body began to radiate a golden tint before he let out a wild yell and transformed. He slammed his fist into his father's face and continued to strike, unaware that he had taken on a new form. As his son proceeded to violently pound on his body, King Cold was helpless. Massive mounds of stone and dust shot into the atmosphere as his father sank deeper into the planet's mantle with each punch. Cooler didn't settle down until he ran out of stamina. The frost demon's body became slack mid-punch before he collapsed unconscious over his beaten and bruised father. Well, I'll be damned. The little bastard managed to use demonic chi. King Cold struggled to pick up his kid. The injury he got wasn't a joke. Finally, Emperor Verglass has a successor, King Cold said as he carried his son back to his castle. The next morning, Cooler awoke to see his father smirking over him. Looking around, he noticed he was inside a healing pod that was rapidly draining. As he stepped out of the pod, he asked his father, "What was that power?" King Cold grinned and said, "Follow me." When King Cold and Cooler got close to the lowest floor of the castle, the temperature abruptly plunged. King Cold revealed a golden frost demon trapped in a block of transparent black-colored ice by opening a gigantic double-sided door. "Who exactly is he?" Cooler inquired. "This is our forefather, Emperor Verglass, the frost demon who took on the gods." King Cold burst out laughing. Cooler, not understanding anything about his own species and not caring, caused King Cold to groan in disappointment. "A long time ago, our ancestor attempted and succeeded in conquering the entire galaxy. Even the gods couldn't stop him, according to tradition. He was mortally injured one day after fighting a gigantic green beast. He returned to Geyser, our home planet, and froze himself in ice to recuperate. Unfortunately, he is most likely no longer alive. The Devil Emperor Verglass has been sleeping for over 1,000 years, explained King Cold. Cooler was taken aback. Then the form I accessed? It was demonic chi, the polar opposite of God Ki, explained King Cold. I expected Frieza to be the first to use this form. After all, his potential was so much greater. Tell me, son, how you accomplished it. Cooler smiled and reverted to his golden state. Yes, that's it, tell me, exclaimed King Cold, smiling. And united, we can conquer the universe. Cooler smiled softly before turning to face his father and immediately placing his palm across Cold's chest. The force of the strike splattered blood all over the place. King Cold was absolutely taken aback, and he couldn't even speak anything other than, "Why?" before collapsing and dying. "Because, father, I no longer require you. Everything you own is now mine. Your worlds, men, and resources." Cooler laughed as he swung his body across the room, forcing it to collide with the black ice. The blood from King Cold's wound poured into the fractures across the Emperor's ice coffin as he walked away, laughing. The black ice slowly began to absorb the blood of the fallen frost demon, and after a few hours, the Emperor Verglass' heart began to beat. Cooler returned to the surface, unaware of what was going on in the bowels of his castle, and declared himself the supreme leader, Devil Emperor Cooler. Cooler gathered a large number of warriors after assembling his army. He even invited the Ginyu Force to come along with him. Cooler discovered why his younger brother went to Earth after poring over Frieza's hidden documents. Dragon Balls, Namekian wish orbs with the power to grant wishes. How intriguing. Cooler then began arming his warriors and decided to travel to Earth. On age 764, it would take them a year to arrive. Back at to planet Salada, Naruto was in intensive training with Goku. The two struggled with everything they had until they were completely exhausted. After exchanging a final punch, the two smacked their fists into each other's faces and collapsed onto their backs, panting loudly at the sky above them. "It's another tie." Naruto breathed deeply. 153 wins, 144 losses, and 480 draws. "I'm, pant. Glad. Pant. We can. Pant. Now sustain Super Saiyan 2 indefinitely. But how are we going to get to the next form?" Goku inquired as he sat up and swallowed a senzu. Naruto did the same. "I think this is the key to surpassing SSZ and achieving SS3. but something appears to be missing, he said to Goku, pointing to his tail. No, we're on the right track. We just need to dig a little deeper. When Goku reached his peak strength, he began to scream as the wind picked up around him. Ignore the harm it will do to my body. Simply surrender to that power. Goku yelled as his aura grew even stronger. Lightning and thunder roared around him, shaking the training grounds violently. The other Saiyans training in the distance were all in wonder as Goku's hair began to grow. Goku was yelling and moaning as he strained to compel his power to evolve. Naruto used Re-Heal on Goku to keep him from blowing up and watched as he smiled happily. Following in Goku's footsteps, he also increased his power to maximum. He began to envisage the worst things happening to his family and the life he had created, including all of his new acquaintances. He was so consumed by his rage that his body began to swell as a result of the raging ki. He didn't fight it, though. Instead, he surrendered. Naruto's hair began to sprout like Goku's once he submitted to the flow of his ki, and the two shouted at the top of their lungs. Their hair had hardly grown halfway before the two collapsing in a puddle of their own perspiration. Fuck it. We're so close, Naruto yelled. They both took another senzu bean and tried once more, Naruto and Goku attempting to achieve the SS3 form. Naruto concentrated on one person, Bulma, imagining another guy touching and injuring her, when the timeless training grounds began to assist them in breaking through their bounds once more. Think of Chi-Chi, your wife, family, and friends, Naruto stated to Goku. Do you have that in your head? Goku nodded, a sweet smile on his lips. Good. Be aware that someone wishes to kill and maim your family, Naruto remarked as the illusion engulfed his fellow Saiyan. Goku snapped, and the two succumbed to the illusory occurrence. Their hair grew long and spiky, spiking towards the bottom of their spine, as they roared. Their brows became strong and went away. Finally, their power levels skyrocketed. Both had peaked at roughly 120 billion. A 75x modification is applied to Mastered Super Saiyan. Mastered Super Saiyan is 2.666666666667 times stronger than Mastered Super Saiyan, with a 200-fold increase in basic power. Mastered Super Saiyan 3 is 4 times as powerful as Mastered Super Saiyan 2, giving them an 800 times base multiplier. Naruto pondered what the modifier for Super Saiyan 4 would be. Will it be 10 times stronger than Super Saiyan 3, or 100 times stronger than Super Saiyan 3? I'm curious what it is. Now let's try and master Super Saiyan 3, Naruto said to Goku as they worked on this new form. This isn't the highest multiplier it can offer if it's like SS1 and 2's mastered form. I was surprised to learn that mastering SS1 gave a 75 times base boost and mastering SS2 gave a 200 times boost, Goku stated as he sprang up. A hidden 25 increase, while SS2 had 50 left in stock. Perhaps SS3's multiplier will grow by 100 or 400. I'm curious what it will be as well, Naruto murmured. Goku stretched and assumed his battle posture before declaring, alright, I'm going to score another victory. Bring it on, Kakarot. Naruto laughed as he moved into his own battle position. The two charged at each other and began exchanging punches once more. Their struggle caused tremendous tremors in the air, scaring away other persons practicing nearby. Even Gohan, who was training with a group of Saiyan children, was taken aback. He was surrounded by a group of them, and all 5 of them had attained Super Saiyan form, all of whom paused and glanced over in surprise at the Super Saiyan 3 forms. Goku's oldest son was attempting to master Super Saiyan 2, which gained him a lot of respect from his fellow Saiyans. Even so, they couldn't quit idolizing Naruto and Goku. They're all celebs on Salada. When Gohan saw his father and Naruto achieve a new level, his Saiyan blood began to boil in anticipation of the day when he, too, will be able to attain that form. Bring it with everything you've got. After this, I have to return to Earth and study. Gohan yelled as he was charged by multiple Super Saiyans his age. Naruto had been on Earth for nearly 3 years, and Gohan had just turned 7. He was, however, cognitively older by a few years as a result of his time spent in the timeless training grounds. After a few more years of training inside the training grounds, Goku and Naruto left with Gohan and his companions. Thanks to Gohan's training, they were all able to perfect their Super Saiyan forms. Gohan, on the other hand, had not yet reached Super Saiyan 3, but he was well on his way. However, Goku and Naruto perfected their SS3 forms and learned that it increased their overall multiplier by 200 times. Additional gains that are 4 times powerful than mastered SS2 bonuses. A Master Super Saiyan the 3rd of May increased their base power levels 1000 times in total. Naruto delighted as he examined the fully operational planet Salada. He was pleased to see so many Saiyans prospering. Over the course of 7 years, many Saiyans sought human mates, driving their population into the millions. Almost every battle-capable Saiyan volunteered to join the Galactic Police, while only a small percentage of the population selected alternative careers, such as technical production, becoming trainers, and farming. Future Trunks should be arriving any day now, Naruto thought as he stared up at the sky. I wonder how many times, Naruto grinned. Naruto delighted as he examined the fully operational planet Salada. He was overjoyed to see so many Saiyans thriving. Over the course of 7 years, numerous Saiyans sought human mates, driving their population into the millions. Almost every battle-capable Saiyan volunteered to join the Galactic Police, while only a small percentage of the population selected alternative careers, such as technical production, becoming trainers, and farming. Future Trunks should be arriving any day now, Naruto thought as he stared up at the sky. I wonder how much stronger the androids will be. After all, Dr. Gero knows about Super Saiyan, and the Earth has changed a lot. Naruto began to grin. To be continued.
That's it for this part, guys. Thanks for listening to the video. I hope you did enjoy the pretty story, and if you did, like, share, and subscribe for more. And thank you all for happy support, and have a great day.